Hello, I'm State Senator Mario Scavello of the 40th Senate District of Monroe and Northampton County. And today it's a special event for me because I'm actually going back to one of the first shows I did as a senator to Recovery Revolution that's located at 109 Broadway but in Bangor, and I'm also at the new Recovery Center at 118 South 1st Street in Bangor as well. And I'm with Jenna Morris, who is the Executive Director and founder of Recovery Revolution. And I believe that she has made miracles here in helping people get through addiction. And I think the world of what you do, and that's why I'm here. Jenna, how are we doing? And I know this new space, I think, has got to help you even grow. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah. We can't thank you enough for your support and just the support of our community and everything for growing. And we've just been so blessed to be able to go from 2 services to 2 buildings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how many clients do you have right now? How many?
Over at Recovery Revolution, we do treatment. So we do outpatient, intensive outpatient. We serve about 100 clients a week. A lot of them we are trying to focus as much as we possibly can on adolescents, because adolescents are a forgotten population in Pennsylvania. So we try to go to where they are. So we're doing some programs in the community outside of our office, but we're also doing directly in our office at 109 Broadway.
Nice. And at this location?
This location, this is a drop-in recovery center. The Northampton County Drug and Alcohol supports many centers throughout Northampton County, 1 family center, and then the rest are just basic recovery centers. And it's really a drop-in safe place for people to come, and there's sober programming, there's resume building, there is someone in recovery that can really encourage them and continue their journey. They can hook them up with case managers and CRSs and just anything in the community. They help them with insurance, any need that we try to meet any need here, but people can come in and they'll do wellness programming, women's program, and then 12-step programming, a lot of different things. We just had a walk and a picnic, so we try to do sober fun as well as programming.
You know, being here, I think it's an ideal location because you're close to the other facility, right? And that means you can go back and forth. But what you described is, to me, just can't beat it, because to have that ability to help people on every one of those different issues that you just mentioned, no matter what the problem is. And the other thing is you're just about finished, you know you're ready to go, and that resume part to get a job, and I think that's important as well.
So it's really important for the treatment centers to be able to do a whole continuum of care. Mm-hmm. And then at the start of it, we were just doing basically assessments in individuals and group. And what's really great about the treatment centers being able to do this whole spectrum of care is that we know the clients, we know their families, we know their cousins, we've been here for 15 years, so we know the people that we're serving the best, and we can really say, okay, you know what, you need this specific thing, go over to the recovery center and they will help you with that. And then we tell them, walk across the street. So you're absolutely right, proximity is key. And also, a lot of people will come in here first because it's a sober drop-in community center. They might come in here for taxes. They might come in here to use the computers, and then our staff will start engaging them in conversation, and maybe their family member, maybe themselves need some services. So it's kind of a whole wraparound system. The other wonderful thing is that individuals that graduate from our program still have a place to come. Sometimes it's hard for them to graduate because it's just been something that they've done weekly for anywhere from 6 months to a year. So it's difficult for them to kind of let that go, but then they come here, they volunteer, they help out, they get into programming, and they still are connected with the community. And that's really what our goal has always been. We want to build programs that are responsive to our community's needs.
You know, when they come here, and just like you just said, they feel connected, and at the same time, that's when you find out if someone has an issue or not, because they don't want to go and say, look, I have a problem. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, somebody needs to highlight it and try to convince them, maybe you should be looking at this or looking at, am I right?
Absolutely, and the Slate Belt is an interesting area that there is a level of distrust for the outside areas. Lehigh Valley, maybe the Poconos, we're nestled in between, and the individuals that live here, and this is obviously a generalization, but the individuals that live here really want to come to community-based services. And I can tell you from starting Recovery Revolution, it took us about 3 to 5 years before they even trusted us enough to come on their own versus, someone that was encouraged to go there through the legal system or what have you. Right. But it took us so long. We had to do things like rabbit parades for their Easter thing, and we had to work with their Halloween stuff and volunteer on their boards. Then they start saying, oh, okay, you are committed to this area. You're just not someone coming in. You're committed to our area. And it took us that long so that when we do these extra programs, it really has a lot to do with, oh, it's Recovery Revolution, okay.
No. I have how quickly you've moved here, and I'm saying, and the growth has been so phenomenal, and your energy has it. Anybody comes in, that smile, when they, you're there to help, and I can see that. I stopped over there, by matter of fact, last time I was here. I went over and stopped for a few moments and said hello. This is for me, and seeing you do this, it's a huge need in this community. A lot of people don't realize that you're here. And I want people to know where you are so that they can come here and get the help that they need. Because sometimes, they'll find all the different reasons. Oh, I got to go there. Yep. It's here, right here in your community. Recovery Revolution's right here.
And we're trying to write grants, and we try to get funding and support for any of the needs. The latest grant we received was for transportation, and everybody knows that Slate Belt has a transportation issue. That's not a hidden information, but we were able to get a grant to have a long-term sober person, or a CRS, Certified Recovery Specialist, drive individuals to treatment. And that was one of the barriers that's always been there. And now we've been able to take that barrier out and say, okay, well, we can pick you up. And we can pick you up 3-5 times a week if we need to. So there's not, we can pick them up once, or we can pick them up when they don't have a ride. So we've been really able to do that. That's from, that was a grant from Lehigh Valley Community Foundation.
Nice. What would you say, give me some of the good stories, the stories that they've gone through the program and...
We have so many. We build on connection. When people come into our center over there at Recovery Revolution, and here also, they say they feel like safe, they feel at home, and we really have tried to make the decor such that they do feel safe. And that connection builds all the way out. So we have individuals that are now working for us that have been 11 years sober because they saw us at our old building and they're still connected with us.
11 years. Phenomenal.
Yep, 11 years sober, continuous, and one of those individuals is one of our drivers. So we have been, the connection still stays, and we can reach out to them and say, hey, we're in need of this, or hey, would you like to come out to a picnic? And they do. I mean, there's a lot of people that we have.
And like you said, the individual is a driver. He also, at the same time, can help people from his experience.
Right.
You're hiring somebody that was in that place that you're in right now.
Right.
And here we are. Here I am working, and you can do it as well. He could be that,
You hit the nail on the head, because we were concerned about just, if we hired Uber, we don't know what the drivers are going to tell them on the way to treatment.
Exactly.
But this way, we know that they're encouraging them. One of the drivers had been through our program, so it's wonderful. They can even say, I remember sitting there and I didn't like it at first, and now, in sharing their experience in recovery or sharing their experience with Recovery Revolution,
I'm giving back.
It's basically invaluable. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That's great. We'll take a break and we'll return in a moment. Welcome back to Legislative Report. We're here at the Recovery Revolution, and we have two new guests that have joined us, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves because they're a big part of what goes on here. Dale?
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Dale Harris. I'm a certified recovery specialist, and I'm here to talk about the Thrive program at the Clean Slate.
My name is Melissa Amator. and I'm the program coordinator here at A Clean Slate, and I'll be talking to you about what we do and what sorts of programs we offer for the community.
So, would you like to start with
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Sure. So here at A Clean Slate, we offer programs for people who are in recovery or for their family members or people who are seeking information about being in recovery. We have recovery program meetings that we do here. We also help people who are trying to apply for insurance so that they can get treatment. We kind of walk them through the application process and make sure that they have what they need to confirm that the application has been accepted so that they can prove that they are able to get treatment. We offer wellness programs here like yoga, meditation, mindfulness, art programs, things that are therapeutic in their own right. And you don't necessarily have to be in recovery to come be a part of those. They are open to the entire community. So if yoga is your thing, or you enjoy painting or doing creative things, we certainly offer those programs. We just recently had a fundraiser here through A Clean Slate. That was absolutely wonderful. It was so much fun, and we raised lots of money, and the community has just really come together. We've kind of experienced a cutting back of programming, and in order to make up for that, thank heavens the community has just really stepped up and has really sort of come to the rescue and offered their resources and their input, and it's turned out to be a really wonderful thing.
I didn't mention when I was interviewing Jenna earlier in the show that what you went through with COVID, it affected you. It had to affect you guys big time, and how you were able to come out of it, Jenna. That really. As far as getting people in, or how did you make that happen?
Well, when the governor had spoken about essential versus non-essential, I didn't have a question whether we were essential services or not, and he would felt the same way. I mean, it's not as if we were on the same page with that. So. We actually never closed down at Recovery Revolution. I was afraid for the treatment center itself that if they don't have those services, they're at home and they're away from everybody, and the liquor stores are open. This is a major problem. So we moved our groups around. We changed a whole bunch of things. We aligned with all of the protocol, but we never stopped groups and individuals, and we were able to spread everybody out, mask, do everything that we needed to do, but keep everybody safe, but keep everybody healthy as well throughout that time. And I can tell you, at least 5 people said to me, if you weren't open during this time, I probably wouldn't be alive. We've sadly had a lot of deaths throughout the last several years from the addiction epidemic. COVID didn't help that, of course. We all know that that's impacted mental health and addiction. So we kept going. We kept going over here at the Recovery Center as well for as long as it was allowed and able to do. After a while, we did have to shut down what we were doing here, but we were still able to talk to people on the phone, have conversations, do Zoom meetings, do Zoom things. We worked with the other recovery centers. So we didn't stop the services here either. We just had to become, we've always have. We just tried to become innovative and said, okay, this is what we need to do now. How are we going to do it?
Yeah, COVID in its own affected many, the depression. You just can't lock people down, right. and there was a spike in overdoses and everything. I hope I was praying I was wrong when I made that statement last April. April of last year, but looking at the numbers, in Monroe at least 15 more a month.
Yes.
And in Northampton probably even more.
And some of them, they weren't identified as overdoses, even though it was contributing factors and all these other things. And we've seen individuals come from being at home or being away from everybody for so long. Addiction is a disease of isolation. So if you think about that from that framework, you're gonna know that not only is that gonna spike, but a lot of places were like, oh, I can't come, and now I'm scared. I don't know what, we offered telehealth services over there as well, but it was really important for some individuals to come in and have that. It might have been their only connection that they had all week long.
And thank God for that. Do you use the Zoom? Did you use Zoom? What did you use?
We used several different things depending on what we were doing. Yes, so we did groups and individuals on telehealth, which is a valuable service. It really was. However, individuals around here may not have internet. There might be, we serve an older population at times, so they didn't understand the technology. Or other individuals are just like, I'm zoomed out. I'm on 12-step AA meetings and I'm doing this. I want to see human beings. So we provided everything we possibly could throughout that time.
Well, thank God you were here. Okay, Dale, it's your turn. Tell me what you do here. Tell me all about Thrive.
Okay, well, thank you again for this opportunity, and I can tell you that the Recovery Center helped change my life. I actually came in as part of the community to use the center to get a resume, help with my resume. And the next thing I know, I was offered a job as a coordinator. And I did some volunteer work for the center. I started in 2018, and I went from volunteering one day to being offered a job the very next day.
Wow, hey, you're impressed.
So I got help with my resume, but I got way more help than that. I got a job, and then they offered training for certified recovery specialists. I'm a person in long-term recovery, and this August I'll have 13 years. And I appreciate that. And I just fell in love with the community and the center and what it stood for. And the Northampton County offered free training for the program. And I've been a certified recovery specialist now for 3 years. And Jana and I wrote the program 2 years ago. And we were just ready to go with it, ready to launch it. It's a way you can walk alongside those who may have chronic relapse or not know where all the recovery resources are for themselves. So I get to come in and walk alongside them and mentor them and be their resource guide, advocate for them, help them find meetings, find their sponsors, and just really stay connected to the recovery community. And that's pretty much what a certified recovery specialist does. We launched the program 6 months ago, and our stats are already through the roof. People are engaging. They're saying, yes, I'd like that added help. They still work a program clinically, and then they go to their meetings, and they have a certified recovery specialist for the wellness side of things and just encouragement. My gift is the gift of encouragement, so I'm able to pass on my enthusiasm and wellness and how I've worked the program. I will use yoga, mindfulness. I also do art therapy. So I try to get into their heads of what makes them well, what's going to make them thrive. And Jana picked the right name when she named the program Thrive, because that's what we're doing up here in the Slate Belt, and that's what we're offering out of the Recovery Center here.
Empowerment through experience.
Yes. Yes.
So you have pamphlets here, and then tells you about all of the different, the advocacy, identify the pitfalls, recovering coaching, resource information broker, life skills mentoring, utilize recovery principles, instill hope and encouragement. Everything I've said, individualized recovery plan, because not everybody's the same. Identify and assist with barriers, sober supports assessment, sober activities, leadership role model program, and more. Boy, every one of those just, really, your experience being here, and you walked in and you just came for a resume, and how things work, right?
It's true.
And that was when the baker closed. Did you? Yeah. I missed the bakery. The sandwiches.
Yes.
I went there, and hopefully that they open up again, But that's how I met her, and I didn't, I knew she looked familiar, but I couldn't place where. So I'm saying maybe I seen her here the last time I came here, but yeah, that's.
And Dale has had a long history of serving the Slate Belt community through volunteerism. I mean, she worked at the Slate Belt Family Network, she was the Clothes Closet. So the other thing is that she's really invested in this community before we invested in her as well. So it was a perfect combination because people know her. people that really need services can trust her. And prior to when she was here as the Recovery Center coordinator, we also trained her as an administrative assistant over there. So she really understands what we do. She understands, and she's a perfect combination of a collaboration. Sometimes it's difficult when other people come out from outside of the system because they don't understand how we do things. She understands how Recovery Revolution runs. She understands how the Recovery Center runs. And then she understands her role in that as a certified recovery specialist.
To go back to you, Melissa, how about we didn't talk about how you began and everything. Why don't we talk about that? And I hear there's a promotion in the future, so let's talk about that.
So, so I've been a master's level student for the past couple of years, earning my master's degree in addiction counseling. And I didn't work during that time. I just was a full-time student, and one snowy late December evening, Jenna reached out to me. She called me. She had gotten information about me from a mutual acquaintance of ours, and she just reached out to see if I would be interested in coming to look at the position to see if it would be a good fit while I was finishing up my master's degree. And I thought I was very excited. I mean, I was ready to go into the field. I was kind of tired of being a student at that point, and I was just ready to put some of my skills into practice and just be working in the field around people who are seeking recovery. And so I came and I interviewed, and we decided it was a good fit. And so I began a few days later, and Dale trained me and kind of prepared me, and of course we were still right in the middle of COVID, and I just jumped in with both feet. I just loved it. I just absolutely loved it, and was able to do some grassroots stuff. One of the things that I noticed there was a real need for was, people don't have computer skills and they don't know how to do some things on the computer. Sometimes they can't even print something out. They just sort of don't know how to make all of that work, much less put together a resume. And a resume is intimidating enough as it is when you are in early recovery and you have to find a job. It can be very intimidating and overwhelming. And so I put together like a resume course that can be viewed or watched or can be read or can just be taught directly, to sort of break it down into little bits so that it's a lot easier to conquer, rather than just looking at this huge task of having to put together a resume. I noticed that there was a need for that, and so I put that together. And then once we moved over here, we were doing programming at the old place, but once we moved over here, I think my opinion is that the community just really responded to the new space, and just they were very excited about it. And we've picked up on recovery meeting attendance and other outside programming since that time. And
you got some great press also when you opened. There was a ton of community people out here. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was.
I think Senator Scavello was here. I think
he certainly was.
I don't know who he was.
Our guest of honor.
But I will soon be transitioning out into the clinical side because I've as of tomorrow, I will have finished my internship as a clinical addictions counselor, and so I will then be done with my master's degree and will be going to work for Recovery Revolution on the clinical side, which is very exciting. I can't think of a better place to begin my career. I honestly can't. I'm just so thrilled. If you don't know it, you ought to know this is just a wonderful human being, a wonderful woman who has taught me so much, and I just continue to grow under her tutelage. She's just wonderful, and yeah.
You know what? Grateful. All three of you have big hearts for what you want, because you believe in what you do, and you want to give back, and you want to help people.
Absolutely, and Jana, as executive director of both places, has created an environment where that thrives, literally. I mean, Dale's right, this is a great name. Thrive is a great name, because that's, that when people come in and embrace the kind of environment that she has created and continues to create, they change and they become different, and they become people who give back to the community themselves. That's what I've observed. And I had the privilege of getting to know the Slate Belt. I'm from Easton, and so I was kind of one of those outsiders coming in, and I have developed a deep appreciation for the history and for the culture and for the challenges that this area has been through. And I have learned to respond to the unique needs that this community has.
I've given the Slate Belt a lot of my time, knowing, because there's no growth here. Everything was built already. The buildings are up. Now you want to try to bring them back and freshen them up, but outside of that, there's no new tax base. Right. So their revenues in the boroughs are pretty flat. And whereas the townships are still growing, they have a lot of land, so people are still building. So for me, it was a very easy, put an office in the Slate Belt, first one ever. I wanted people to know that I realized that they're working from behind, basically. And the Bath borough is the same type of, their revenues are flat because the same way, it's not in the Slate Belt, but that's the other, but outside of and Walnutport borough also. So, but I do try to help these little boroughs because I see they're really pitching nickels to try to balance a budget. And you being here, and it really helps those in need here. And plus you created jobs here. You created jobs here in the borough, and that's important. And I'm going to try to help you when you have a graduate out of your program, maybe help them find work. Because to me, that's the next step. And if we don't do that, who knows? That what we talked about earlier, depression, that they're not working, they got to stay active and think about. Am I correct?
Absolutely, you're absolutely right.
And I'm a strong believer that addiction is a community issue, but I'm also a strong believer that recovery is a community issue. And they're both contagious, right? And so, promoting recovery promotes a sense of community. It promotes a sense of we're in this together, and we can find a common solution. And I'm beginning to see a lot of that in Bangor, in the borough specifically. Some of the businesses are coming together to create common solutions.
Oh, all of the stuff that's going on these buildings, she's done a phenomenal job.
So the Historic Bangor Business Association has really come together. We have some tireless volunteers that have brought that together. Faith Surinsky that did the...
Faith is just unbelievable.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. And with Brooke Kersner just rah-rahing and helping out any way she possibly can. It's just a wonderful dream team that's come together that really loves this community and that wants to see it flourish and wants to see it just beautified in any way possible. And something as simple as a mural has brought people around. Our walk was around the murals, and individuals came back here and said, I've lived in Bangor and I've never walked downtown, and wow, it's amazing. And I can say 15 years ago, it was not that way. It has absolutely moved and grown, and it's out of the love of the community.
She actually, I did a show with her, and I'm very impressed with her. And that whole group, the artists, first class. And I'm happy we ended on that note, because it really brings everything together here in the borough and in the Slate Belt. I want to thank all three of you ladies. Continued success.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on your new position. I know you're going to thrive there, and you keep doing what you're doing. God bless all three of you, and thank you for allowing me to visit with you.
Thank you so much.
You've been watching Legislative Report. I'm State Senator Mario Scavello, the 40th Senate District. If you have any questions or any concerns about today's program, please contact my office. The information will be on the screen in a moment. And thanks for watching, and see you next time on Legislative Report.